Hi everyone, for those of you who are new, my name is Christine and this video is going to be a book review for an ebook that I read. So I'll go ahead and put this down so that I can put the picture of the book. So the book that I finished is called My Kind of Perfect, and this was written by Tracy Brogan. Let me double check because I'm sure I am extremely wrong on that. I do know it's Tracy, but I can't remember if it's Brogan or Borgan. So it's Brogan, B-R-O-G-A-N. So anyway, My Kind of Perfect by Tracy Brogan. And I ended up giving this 4 stars. And this is an adult romance. I would personally classify this as a clean romance. You don't have sexually explicit scenes. I will get to the most explicit part of the book in just a moment. So this is the 3rd in the Trillium Bay series. And we're following the points of view from different sisters, all from one family. The first one we are following Emily Callaghan. The second book picks up where the first book left off, but now in the second book we followed Brooke Callaghan. And this third book picks up where the second book left off. So we're following a continuous timeline from book 1 to the end of book 3. But in the third book we're following the perspective of is it Emily, I believe is what it is. Lilly. Excuse me. Lilly. So we're following Lilly Callaghan in this particular book. Having trouble with names. Anyway, so this picks up where the second book left off. So if you have not read the first or the second book, I would advise you to skip this, because when I talk about what took place in this third book, which will not be massive spoilers for the third book, but because it's a series, there will be spoilers more than likely for the first and second book. So if you have not read the first 2, skip this video. You have been warned. I will now commence with reviewing the third book. So for this book, we're following Lilly Callaghan. She was in a relationship. From the first book, you do get, for each book you have, every sister makes an appearance. So the first book, Emily was involved in a relationship with a guy named Tag. He is as old as her father, and her siblings try to kind of make her see that, you know what, this isn't the best relationship for you, but ultimately it was Emily's relationship, and so she continues with that relationship throughout the books. The second book, she's overseas, or not overseas, but I think she did travel overseas, but she's done some traveling with Tag. The third book, she has started to realize that things aren't how she wants them to be. She is young. She's in her early 20s. She wants to have kids and kind of wants to settle down. The traveling is fun, but she just kind of wants to plant her own roots. Where Tag is fine with planting roots, but he's already done the whole kid thing and he doesn't want kids. So you already have that conflict right from the start. Right within the first 2 chapters, they are taking a break from each other. Now, was it in the first or the second book? I don't remember. The sisters tried to introduce Lilly to someone called Matt. He is also referred to as Yoga Matt, because he is a yoga instructor in the books. And in this book, she meets him again, where she was not even interested because she was head over heels with Tag to start. But in this book, she meets Matt again, and they kind of strike up a friendship. What I like about, I think my favorite romance trope is like a friends to lovers. I don't particularly care about the enemies to lovers. Sometimes I find that a bit too far-fetched. I guess it can happen. But my favorite is friends to lovers. I like to have that commonality, and then just a love just blooms from that friendship. That's what I like. And this has the friends to lovers. So she strikes up a friendship with Matt. But enter this guy named Jaden, who is this famous movie star, and she strikes up a friendship with him. So we have 2 potential romance partners. At the beginning of the book, so what happens is Emily goes over across the water to the mainland instead of the island, because they live on Trillium Bay, which is an island, very small knit. A lot of people have Irish ancestry, and they're all very stubborn. Now, so to get any major, hi Ophi, to get any major shopping done, they kind of have to go across the water by ferry because no cars are allowed on Trillium Bay. You can go by walking, horse riding, bike riding, and a cart and buggy type of a thing, like a horse drawing a buggy. Horse-drawn carriage, that's the phrase I was looking for. Anyway, so at the beginning of the book, Lilly is going across the water on ferry, but she's going with Matt to help her do some shopping. They need to shop. What happens is, so Brooke is now the mayor in this book, which in Brooke's book, in the second book, she was trying out to be the mayor and things like that. So she is the mayor of Trillium Bay in this. And then her sister, Emily, who was from the first book, is engaged and she's pregnant. So we're just kind of going from that point. Now, Emily does suffer from a lot of morning sickness in this. And Lilly is trying to help her the best that she can. So Lilly is also kind of trying to do some household objects with Emily's business. And so she goes over with Matt to kind of do some shopping for various items that she needs, whether it's pregnancy, wedding related, or stuff for remodeling certain houses for Emily's business. So she goes over with Matt. They have a car in storage, which is a Chevette. And here comes Jaden Pierce. He loves this car because his dad loved the car and he wants to buy it off of them. So she's like, well, I can't make that decision. It is my dad's car. Her dad is the chief of police. And so Jaden has to talk to the chief of police, which ends up working out for Jaden because Jaden is kind of like a producer / actor, and he is going over to Trillium Bay because they are going to do some on-site filming on Trillium Bay because that's the scenery that they want. So there's that. And so he kind of nicknames Lilly Chevette, and so you get that quite a bit popping up. People think that she's got it out for him as far as like love and that they have the swooning for each other, but then people think she's also swooning for Matt. So people are a little confused and kind of wondering who she's really in love with. And that just kind of goes on. One of the big things is there's a lot of things that people keep secrets in their lives, things that happened before. You also have people having to keep secrets because they signed NDAs or non-disclosure agreements. And if they discuss things, they could end up in a lot of legal trouble. So secrecy is a big thread throughout this. So she kind of keeps going on, you know, she's an extra, she's working for her sister, she's trying to start a relationship with one of the two, I'm not going to say which, and it just kind of goes on. And one thing that I really liked is at Matt's house, he had a mama cat go under the porch of his house and give birth to some kittens, and so you have kind of like these new kittens and trying to find them homes and all of that. So I thought that was cute. And they can keep popping up with who's going to get a kitten from Matt. So, let's see, what else can I tell you? Okay, so at one point, Lilly has the exact measurements as the female star of this, and so she's also drafted to be kind of like the measurement stand-in, where they'll go and because she has the exact measurements as the female actress. And she just doesn't want to, the actress doesn't want to, for whatever reason, or she's too busy to go and have her clothes modified to fit her body. So they recruit Lilly to do that. So Lilly has to go and stand in for that. She's also an extra. They pull her out because she's got the right look to have a special part in the movie. And then something happens to the actress where they want Lilly to act in it. And basically it's a simulated nude scene. So she has pasties on, as well as this cloth fabric in the front to cover up her lower parts, but she can't cover up her butt because it's her butt that they want. So she has to do some acting in that. And then lo and behold, as romances go, there ends up being miscommunication, which means they think that like the main love interest, which you will find out, and again, I'm not going to spoil which one it is, finds out that there's something that they thought that Lilly was keeping from them on purpose. But again, she signed an NDA for this, especially for the butt scene. And so she talked to this person only giving information that she felt like she could, so that to try and reduce any insecurities and stuff like that, to show that she is trustworthy. And then of course everything hits the fan. He thinks that she's not, and so distance has to ensue. It's a romance, you know it, the love blooms, there's miscommunication or something going on, and then things resolve. Standard romance. But okay, so 2 things in this that happened that were really kind of, I don't know, take what you will with it. So one of them, they're having for Lily's sister, Emily, they're kind of doing a combination of baby shower and wedding shower, because she's getting married, but she's also pregnant. So they're just kind of combining the 2 showers. And it's at the shower that all of a sudden the power goes out, and Lily goes to kind of maybe get a cupcake or something. And they find one of the people that are on the island who is also pregnant, and she's eating a cupcake, and all of a sudden, gosh darn it, her water breaks. So they've got to rush, not Emily, this other pregnant lady on the island. And she's very kind of flamboyant and out there. So they got to rush her and her husband to a helicopter, because there's no real hospital that can deal with pregnancies on the island, and so they've got to get her to a helicopter. And so you've got all the comedy with that, and it was actually really interesting, kind of funny. The other thing with, and this is the most explicit part in this book, during the baby shower, they're playing some wedding games. It doesn't refer to what they do for anything for the baby shower. It's mostly a wedding shower, but I do think they if I remember right, they did combine them. But the games at the shower are for the wedding, and everything revolves around the penis. So you have a ring toss, but you're tossing it to a penis. And then there's other games I can't really remember. So that's the most explicit scene in this. Lily does end up having sex with her romantic interest, but it is a fade to black thing. So you know they're going to, and then they wake up the next morning after having sex. So you don't get the explicit scenes from the sex, which I am grateful for. Again, the most explicit part was just the penis theme at the wedding shower. So that's pretty much it. I like this. I gave this a 4 stars, and I actually want to get physical copies of these because I really enjoyed them that much. I read them on my Kindle, but I do want my own physical copy, because there were things that I read that certain lines impacted me, but because I can't really mark up on I can't mark and tab on a Kindle, I want my own physical copy so I can highlight those passages. And there was like maybe 2 or 3 per book. So really not much, but I do want my own physical copy so I can do that. So I will at some point get myself the physical copies of those. So that's going to be it. Again, I definitely recommend reading the first book and the second book. Just read them in order. But again, I will have warned you to not have watched this video if you have not read the first 2 books. So if you stuck around, surprise, you're spoiled for a couple of things. So yeah, so that's all I can pretty much say for this video. Let me know if you've read this series or if you've read anything else by Tracy Brogan and what your favorite book by this author is. So until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.